Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the Rising Sophomore Housing Selection webinar. I'm David Watts. I'm the Assistant Director for Housing Services. I'm joined today by Perry Doherty, our Associate Director for Residential Operations. I'll be hosting while Perry will be working on answering questions in the background. So we're going to talk about the eligibility, the different housing options, accommodations, the timelines, how to form groups, and the actual act of selecting housing today. So all rising sophomores are guaranteed and are required to live on campus prior to your housing residency requirement. The applications were due on January 28th, and anyone who didn't create an application by that deadline at 5 p.m. on the 28th had an application created for them. We do this for everybody, including any students who may have an exemption from on-campus housing in order to track everything. So just know that. And we also, students who may choose sophomores that want to study abroad during their sophomore year, they can do that. You are still guaranteed and required to live on campus in the semesters that you are here. And just another reminder that lottery numbers cannot be traded, exchanged, or given away. So we mentioned before about potentially studying away. We don't get it very often, but when it does happen, we do encourage the students to go through the housing selection process. If you are gone for the entire academic year studying abroad, those 2 semesters that you're gone will count towards your residency requirement, and you will no longer be required to live on campus for your junior year, and you will no longer be guaranteed on-campus housing going forward as well, because you'll have completed that through the study abroad program. So if you are away in the fall semester and returning for the spring semester, this is like if you're even on a leave or you're studying abroad, we do have a housing application process specific for the spring housing process in a term that opens up usually mid-October. So that application process is pared down, normal questions, but it asks additionally if you have any specific places you want to live. Maybe you know a friend that has a vacancy in the room, or you want to live in a theme house or something like that, you can make those requests there. So if you do have your housing if you do go through the housing process now, go away for the fall term, you will have your housing canceled for the entire academic year. You wouldn't automatically get that spot back when you return in the spring. That's why we have that spring application process. So if you do go through a Tufts study abroad program, you will not be charged the commitment fee for breaking the license for being away any semester that you're gone. So the rising sophomore housing stock is there's a lot of different options. We have 10-person apartments in Latin Way and Hillsides, 6-person apartments in Hillsides, and then there's single rooms available in Blakely, Harleston, Haskell, Hill, Lewis. There are no single rooms available in Stratton. We tend to get that request a lot, so I just want to make a special note that the single rooms that are in Stratton are usually reserved for the resident assistant staff that lives there. We have double rooms in Blakely, Harleston, Haskell, Hill, Lewis, Stratton, and West. There are quads in West Hall and triple rooms in Haskell, Lewis, Stratton, and West. We do have single gender female only housing in 32 Dearborn, and theme and special interest housing as well. Fraternity and sorority housing is limited to juniors and seniors, so that is not an option for the rising sophomore class. Just want to go through a little bit about each of the different buildings, kind of get a rundown of what all those look like, starting with Latin Way. It's a 10-person apartments or 6-person apartments, 10-person apartments with 2 configurations. There's singles and doubles, 6 singles and 2 doubles, like an example of E160 and A220. And then there's also 4 singles and 3 doubles to make the 10 total bed spaces available there. We have some examples there, E260, 360, 460. If you are going for a 10-person apartment, just know going in that there are the different options of those. So come up with different scenarios for who's going to get singles if it's a 6-person, or who's going to get singles if it's the 4 singles version of it. So just have that in mind. All the bathrooms have single-use restrooms in there. 10-person apartments do have two bathrooms. The keys are physical keys, one for the apartment door and one for the bedroom door, and laundry is available on the first floor of the A and D towers in Latin Way. Hillsides um, has 6-person and 10-person apartments. 6-person apartments are 4 singles and 1 double. That's standard across all the 6 persons. The 10-person apartments are also pretty standardized where they have the 4 singles and 2 doubles. So bathrooms, all the bathrooms are single-use restrooms. The 10 persons will have 2 sinks, 2 toilets, 2 showers, and the 6 persons will have 2 sinks, 2 toilets, and 1 shower. Like Latin Way, it's all physical keys, one for the apartment door and one for the bedroom door, and laundry is located in the 20s and 70s towers. Haskell Hall is all gendered doubles and singles. There are 2 to 4 community bathrooms per floor, each with 2 sinks, 2 showers, and 2 toilets. And there's 1 single-use bathroom on the first floor. It is all card access, so you do not need physical keys for there. And there's laundry located on the 3rd and the ground floor of the building. Lewis Hall is all gender inclusive doubles, triples, and singles. Therefore, gendered community bathrooms per floor. And those are all spread out throughout the building, so your room might not be closest to a gendered bathroom that matches your gender identity, so you may have to walk down the hall in order to find the closest one. There is a single-use bathroom on the first floor next to a single-use shower. All the keys are physical keys, and the laundry is located on the ground floor of the building. West Hall is gender inclusive quads, triples, doubles, and 1 single. Um, and there are communal gendered bathrooms. There is no bathroom, however, on the first floor. I believe there's 2 quads and 1 triple on that first floor. So the first floor residents must either go down to the basement or up to the 2nd floor. And the room keys are all physical keys in that building as well. And laundry located in the basement. Stratton Hall, gender inclusive triples and doubles. Again, no single rooms. Bathrooms are communal gendered bathrooms. There's 1 single-use bathroom on the first floor and in the basement, and all the rooms are card access. Laundry located on the ground floor of the building. Hill Hall is gendered doubles and singles. The bathrooms are communal gendered bathrooms. The 5th floor does have a single-use restroom, and the building is all card access for getting into your room, and laundry is located on the first floor of the building. Charleston Hall is gender inclusive doubles and singles. All the bathrooms are single-use bathrooms. This building has on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor, I believe it's like 17 or 19 single-use bathrooms. So if there's ever one that's occupied, you just go down a little bit further to find the next one that's available. It's pretty popular because of that. Keys, it's all card access, and laundry is located in the basement. The building has an elevator, so you can get up and down to the basement that way. And one other thing of note is the ceilings on the 4th floor are slanted slightly. So some people love that, some people don't care for it. So it's just worth mentioning that the 4th floor do have slanted ceilings. Blakely, that just reopened this year, is all gender inclusive doubles and singles. There's 2 gender inclusive communal bathrooms and 2 single-use bathrooms per floor. In the communal bathrooms, showers and toilets are behind floor to ceiling walls with doors that lock. It's all card access. Laundry is located in the basement. And this building, in addition to having an elevator, is also air conditioned seasonally. If you want to know a little bit more about the residence halls, look at some floor plans. That is available for anyone who's logged into the housing portal. You'll just go to the resources tab on the landing page. And the last link on the page is looking for floor plans. Click here to look at the floor plans. Just keep in mind that this is all behind the single sign-on for Tufts, so sharing out the links won't necessarily work, but if you're already behind the single sign-on, you should be able to just go back and forth that way. Anyone who has an accommodation or a priority preference for housing, our office works with 3 different offices in order to accommodate those. So the Star Center works with any medical condition that rises to the level of a disability. The Office of Equal Opportunity works with any sincerely held religious beliefs. And our friend Hope Freeman, the director of the LGBT Center, works with any gender and sexuality related preferences. The deadline to apply for those is today on the 11th by 5 p.m. So please make sure you get that in. Requests that come in late, we will try to meet with as best we can. But once we start making assignments and stuff, the options become more and more limited. So it's always best to get your stuff in on time. Timeline considerations. The application for applying for a theme and special interest process closed at 5 p.m. on January 28th. Currently, those applicants are being interviewed by the house advisors, and the theme house offers will be sent out next week on the 18th. So any student who accepts a spot into a theme community will not participate in group formation or regular housing selection. There'll be a theme selection process on March 11th for those students, and all of those offers, if you accept it, are binding. You can decline it and go through the regular process, but if you accept a spot in the house that is binding, you will be held to go into that theme space. So resident assistant applications, apologies for delay. We are working on that. Please check the website for up-to-date information. And then housing accommodations. Again, today, February 11th at 5 p.m. is the deadline to request for those. Students with specific approved accommodations will be reached out to soon to talk about what those accommodations are. Some students may go through their own self-selection process, or other students may have to meet with us. So we'll send out information about that soon. So students can also decline their accommodations if they don't want to use it, but just know that if you decline that and then do not get what you're hoping for through the regular process, you may not be able to get your accommodations back afterwards. So a little bit more about the accommodation deadline. So on today, the 11th, deadline to apply. On the 23rd through 26th, we have our first round of accommodations meetings. March 2nd through March 6th, we'll do some more accommodation meetings. And then new this year, we have a single selection for students who only have single as an accommodation. They can go in and select their own rooms. So hopefully that will give students more advocacy to pick exactly which room that they want. And we will use the order of who selects when will be based off of student lottery numbers that have been assigned already. So we will send out information about which round you'll be going through on the 18th. So keep an eye out for emails on that if that applies to you. So theme and special interest, again, application closed January 28th. We will send out the theme offers on the 18th, and then the 23rd is when the theme acceptances will be due back to us, with March 11th being the actual day for students go into the housing portal and select the room within their theme house. So like I said before, we have a lot of different options for students to select rooms. And in order to help try to accommodate those large amount of room types, we have a group formation process that's separate from the actual selection process to give students more time to work with their friends to figure out what type of apartment or bedroom or room wherever on campus that they want to live in. So we break it down into the different types of rooms from the 10-person down to the 6-person, down to singles, quads, triples, doubles. So students kind of apply for what they want each particular group formation period. And if they don't get what they're hoping for in that one group formation day, they can try again for a different size apartment on the next day. So we start with the 10-person apartments. So that's on March 23rd at 9 p.m. to March 24th at 3 p.m. We always have it open from 9 p.m. to 3 p.m. to give students more time when they're not in classes in order to be able to go into the housing portal and form groups. The selection day for that will be on March 30th. And if you apply for a 10-person apartment and are not able to get it on that first day, you'll get an email saying, sorry, more people applied than we have apartments available. Your group will be deleted, so you can go back in and try again for the next day if you want to do for the 6-person apartment, or skip that day, go to quads and singles or triples and doubles, however you want to do it. So That's a little bit about that, how that works. It's like if you don't get one, you can try the other. The six-person apartment process is March 24th at 9 p.m. to March 25th at 3 p.m. with the selection on March 31st. And for students wanting quads or singles, the group formation process for that is March 25th at 9 p.m. to March 26th at 3 p.m. Singles and quad selections will happen the following week on April 1st. And then group formation happens for any student looking for a triple or double on March 26th at 9 p.m. to March 27th at 3 p.m. Selection for doubles or triples will happen again that following week on April 2nd. So typically, you have until our office will usually have things out, results for the group formation process, no later than 6 p.m. The day of that group formation process. So you have time to work with your friends and figure out your next steps. So, talked a little bit about this before. Group process to try to apply for the different type of room or apartment type. Other universities may have a process where you form a group during your time slot and select all at once instead of having it all, instead of doing it separately like this, how we do it. We hope that this eases anxiety of separating out the process so you're not scrambling all at once, having everyone available at the same time to do this. This process has worked pretty well, and hopefully students have provided good feedback that they prefer to not do everything all at once, to know exactly what they're going to get. If you get a 10-person group selection time, you're going to get a 10-person apartment. You don't know which 10-person apartment, but you'll know you are guaranteed to get one. So we always do, like I said, between 9 p.m. and 3 p.m. You do not have to try for every single configuration possible. It's highly recommended that you have multiple options to choose from and work with. But once you get one option, if you get like the 10-person, for example, you can't later apply for the 6-person as well. You're locked in for that 10-person once you're approved for a 10-person group. So again, more about, the difference, variety of options, giving greatest chances available for students to stay together with their preferred roommates for the upcoming academic year. One thing about the different lottery numbers and group leaders, our office only looks at the best number, the lowest number for each group. That number is the only one that is important. So the best lottery number is for rising sophomores is 1,000. The highest lottery number is 3,000. When we are going through the group formation results, we look at just the best number of each group. So if your number 1015 and someone else in your group has like 3,000, that 1015 is the only one that matters. We're not averaging out like some institutions may do. We're only looking at the best number because we're trying to keep friends together, not have lottery numbers drive them apart. So anyone can create the group leader. It does not need to be the person with the best lottery number. I always advise students that the person who forms the group should be the most organized person of the group in order to make sure everyone's doing what they need to do for the group formation process. We can always change the group later afterwards for selection purposes, but it does not need to be the person with the best lottery number. During the group formation process, there is a group verification. It's important to make sure that like your group is verified, you meet the correct size requirements for that particular group formation process. You can't form a group of 10 and then only have 9 people in that group. It won't allow you to verify the group, or if the group gets changed after it's verified from the 10 to 9, you won't be able to proceed. You have to have the same number of people in your group. Then for that day, you can't have less. You can't partially fill like a 10-person with 7 people and just say, yeah, we're fine if any 3 other people joining in later on. We have to have groups of 10 go through the process together. Anyone who's not of the correct size group will get an email saying your group did not qualify because you're the wrong size group. Your group would be deleted so you can try again in the future. So groups that are not verified will not be considered because usually they're the wrong size. Sometimes students will create a group of 3 every single group formation process. because they're going for the triple and they just form the group every day. They're going to get lots of emails saying until that triples day that it's not the correct size group. Um, One thing of note, we do have a group formation process for the singles. Um, I recognize that a group of one is an odd request sometimes, but we need that as the mechanism to say, yes, I am interested in the single versus just giving out time slots to the best numbers available. So you do need to go in and form a group of one if you're interested in a single. So if you ever have questions or concerns during the group formation process, we will always have a Zoom room handy for students to pop in and ask questions. Or if you need assistance changing the group leader or adding people to the group if they're not showing up for some reason. The most common reason for people not showing up in groups is they've already formed their own groups. So we'll talk a little bit more about creating groups now. When the group formation time period opens up at that 9 p.m., you'll have access to a new page. And on that page, you will be able to either create a group or join a group, depending on different options. Only one person from your group should be forming a group. Like I said before, the most common reason people don't find each other is you can't add someone to a group if they're already in a group of their own. So the group leader will come in and hit create group. If you are not the group leader, you may come to this page and say join group on the side. Once you've created the group, you can search for additional people to add using the student ID number of the people you'd like to add. And so once you enter the student ID number, you hit search. The person who matches that student ID will pop up. You can add to group, and it will send them a message through the housing portal that says you've been invited to the group. That person will then go into the housing portal themselves and join the group. You have to, every single person in a group has to go into the housing portal at some point to either request to join a group or to confirm that they want to join a group. So this is what an incoming request would look like. You just, someone has invited you to join the group, you hit accept or decline. If you hit accept, you will get a message and the group leader will get a message saying you have been confirmed as part of the group. Same with decline, they'll get a message saying that, this person's declined the group. Please make sure you have the correct group size. If you cannot reply to emails or messages to say, I want to join a group, you have to come in to the housing portal, your application for the year, and hit accept or decline. Another way of joining a group is if you are the group leader, you can share out the group name and password. Where it said join the group earlier, you enter the name of the group and the password, hit join group, and it will send a message over to the group leader to approve the request. So once all the groups are formed, you are able to pass the leadership over to the next person. If you know you're going to be in an exam during the selection process, you can pass that off to someone else who's going to be available during that time. So pass the leadership. Once you pass the leadership, you cannot take it back. It's the other person has to give the leadership back over to you. If there's ever an issue with the group leader not being available, maybe they had a family emergency or are on a plane and they can't get to the housing portal to change leadership, our office is always able to assist with moving the leader around so that people can continue through the process. So always available to help with that. So on the actual day of selection, only the group leader should be going into the housing portal to select the room. We encourage the student to know come up with a list of 5 or 6 options or whatever of where you'd like to live and who is going to live with each person if it's an apartment, for example. So who's going into singles, who's going into doubles, who's going into doubles with who. Come up with options if the only thing left is Latin Way and it's one of the apartments with fewer singles and double than the other options. So make sure everyone you have a game plan of all the different things you'd like to do, who is going to live with who. So you do, when you select a room, you do pick the exact room, um, putting people into the exact bed spaces. You're not just picking a double in Harleston or a double in Lewis. You are picking the specific double in the building that you're selecting. So, room selection, there is a time slot system. Once your time slot begins, it does not end until the day closes. If your time slot's at 11:50 and you can't get on until 12:30 to select, all that means is all the people between 12 and 12:30 have been able to go in and select. So you're not losing out except on options. You're not going to miss your chance to select. And but we do have to close it each night at 8 o'clock in order to make sure the next day's process is ready to go. We work on it at night. So again, only the group leader and selecting as close to your time slot as possible will increase the number of options available to you. If you have a group of friends, four friends that want doubles next to each other, and that's really, really important to you, we always say try to wait until like the later person's time slot to go in to select to get them next to each other. But doing that may limit the options of where you might be. So just, pros and cons of that. On the actual selection day, you'll see the initial selection page of like, I'll show you the list of buildings that are available on that day to select. And once you select that building, it'll show you the available rooms. You will have options to filter out the different rooms that you're looking for by either building or room type, like if you're looking for a double or a triple, because sometimes the selection happens on the same day as other room sizes. So if you hit double on the doubles and triples days, it'll show you just the doubles. If you're going into the apartments, once you add a cart that's part of an apartment, it will add all the rooms that correspond with that apartment as well. So you don't have to do any guesswork on which apartment is which rooms are which. So it helps you out with that. But if it's not part of an apartment, you're just adding one to a cart, and it won't allow you to add more than one room to the cart if it's not an apartment. So once it's added to the cart, there is a little a timer that pops up near the logout button on the housing portal that will say how much time you have left to confirm your selection. Um, that timer is kind of like similar to buying an airline ticket or concert tickets or something where no one else can look at those seats until you've either released the seats back or have confirmed your choice, then they won't be able to select it at all. So that's another problem with, we say that only the group leader should be going in to select, because if your group mate is trying to be helpful and is trying to hold on to that room, but you're the group leader that's selecting, that is no longer able for you to select because they're technically holding it. So um, if you are going through a process where there's more than one room type available, let's say you're a double, and you've accidentally selected a triple, you will get an error that says there's not enough people in your group. So it tries to help you out by saying you're signing up for the wrong thing. So please be mindful of that. So what happens after the group formation ends? If at any point you weren't able to form a group or you have no preference on where you'd like to live, Residential Life will make you a housing assignment on your behalf. Usually it takes place about a week or two after the normal process ends. Other big questions we get is what happens if someone I was supposed to live with takes a transfer or takes a leave of absence. Um, we will always offer out the ability to students to pull in someone to replace the person who left. We send an email to your Tufts email account saying so and so is not going to be here anymore. Please fill the vacancy. And you'll have usually like 72 hours to come up with that. Always have that conversation with your group mates going into this process like, hey, do you plan on transferring? Do you think you might take a leave? If so, please let us know so we can come up with a backup plan. Um, Other big questions we get a lot is, I really wanted a single and there's no singles left. Is there any chance? We do have students take leaves, transfer out um, after the selection process ends over the summer. So we do keep a singles wait list. We use the lottery numbers to come up with that wait list. A lot of times we will get more accommodation requests for students that need singles. We'll prioritize those students first before going to the regular wait list for singles, but we will keep a wait list for people who want singles afterwards and reach out as availability happens. Another thing that we get is um, it was all so much all at once. I was just throwing people into rooms. Um, is there any way to switch people around within the apartment? Yes, we do have a process that we'll email out about that. We try to do that usually in May, June, and have that done before July, so that we're ready to get keys and stuff ready for opening in August. So always expect to move into the apartment that you've been assigned to, but if you do want to move it around, we can definitely assist with that. That wraps us up for the questions or for the presentation. But if there are any questions, we'll be in the chat for a little bit longer answering the questions. So thank you so much for joining us. Take care.